Written in a time when the Hebrew faith, one God, while other faiths around them claimed many, the point in this psalm seems to be making in a case for the holy, the one and only. But it also names riches as God, that sometimes we set our heart upon as confident setting in goals. This speaks us now as much as it did then. In our lifetime, we have witnessed that is fleeting as breath in the notion of economic security. Whether we are feeling low or high of estate, make no difference. We can count on the steadfast praise. In a God alone my soul finds rest, for my deliverance comes from God, who alone is my rock, my salvation, my fortress. I will never be shaken. Only in God my deliverance, my glory, my refuge is God. Trust in God always, my people. Pour out your hearts before God, our refuge. Humankind is but a breath. Mortals are just an illusion. Put them on the scales and the balance is thrown off. They weigh less than a breath. Do not trust in extortion or put false hopes in stolen goods. Do not set your heart on riches, even when they increase. For God has said only one thing. Twice I have heard it. The power belongs to God. Steadfast love is yours, Adonai. You repay all people according to their deeds. It's Mark 14 through 20. After John was arrested, Jesus came into Galilee, announcing God's good news, saying, "Now is the time. Here comes God's kingdom. Change your hearts and lives and trust this good news." As Jesus passed alongside Galilee's sea, he saw two brothers, Simon and Andrew. They were fishermen, so they were throwing their fishing nets into the sea. "Come follow me," he said, "and I will show you how to fish for people." Right away they left their nets and followed him. After going a little further, he saw James and John, Zebedee's sons, in their boats repairing the fishing nets. At that very moment he called them. They followed him, leaving their father Zebedee in the boat with the hired workers. Blessed be the word of God.
Thanks be to God.
Psalm 62, listen to this. Only in God does my soul find rest. My life comes from God. Only God is my rock and my life, my stronghold, and I will not be shaken. Whew, that's some confidence. This sounds like it comes from a songwriter that has lived a lot of life and wants to pass on some wisdom to us. And I think that's what it is. Psalm 62 goes on about how wisdom is not to be trusted in people. War and violence are not to be trusted. Money is not to be trusted. Only, the psalmist says, can we really trust in God? And the psalmist, in her wisdom, invites us to think about that too. What does it look like to trust only God? Or maybe another way to say that is, what are the things that we do lean on that aren't really helpful in the long run? What politics or ego or ideas or beliefs or people are we dependent on that really won't help us in the end? We sing together, "In God Alone."
In God alone is my soul at rest. Be at rest, my soul. In God alone is my soul at rest. Be at rest, my soul. In God alone is my soul at rest. In God at rest, my soul at rest. In God at rest, my soul at rest. In God at rest, my soul.
So the story of Jonah and the whale doesn't come up very often in our lectionary, and I didn't want you to miss it. I didn't want to miss it either. So I have a very simple reading of Jonah and the whale. Jonah Goes to Nineveh, written by Francis Jones. And I thought, well, how can I read it to you? And I thought, if I put it in the sermon, you won't be sitting there going, how long are these readings going to go this morning? So we're taking up some sermon time so that we can hear a simple reading of Jonah and the whale. God has a job for Jonah. He tells Jonah, Jonah, go to the city of Nineveh and say this, people of Nineveh, I bring you a message from God. God says, you hurt people, you rob people, you kill people. Your hurting and robbing and killing is a bad smell to God. So God is going to destroy Nineveh. He is going to destroy your homes, and he is going to destroy you. God says, go, Jonah. Tell the people in Nineveh that I will destroy the city. Tell them I cannot stand the way they live. And Jonah says, what, God? You want me to go to those bad people? No, I will not go. Go ahead and destroy Nineveh. That is what people in Nineveh deserve. And Jonah says, I know what you will do, God. You are a God of love. If those people change, you will forgive them, and then you will not destroy them or their city. I do not want them to change. They are bad. Go ahead and destroy them. So Jonah does not go to Nineveh. Jonah gets on a ship and goes the other way. And when he gets on the ship, he goes to sleep. A wind begins to blow the ship. It blows harder and harder. The waves get bigger and bigger. The men on the ship are afraid. The waves begin to come over the ship. A man says, someone on this ship is bad luck. Who is it? Who is it? And Jonah says, I am bad luck. God is angry at me. Throw me into the waves, then you and the ship will be okay. And the men throw Jonah into the waves. And the wind goes away, and the waves die down. And the ship is okay. But Jonah is in the water. The waves throw him up and down, and they throw him back and forth, and a big fish comes along and swallows Jonah. And Jonah calls to God, from the water I call to you, from the fish's belly I call to you. I will lie here in the dark, but I praise you, God. I praise you. And God makes the fish spit Jonah out. It spits Jonah out on dry land. And God tells Jonah again, go to Nineveh, Jonah. Tell the people I will destroy Nineveh in 40 days. And this time, Jonah goes to Nineveh. He walks in Nineveh for 3 days. And Jonah walks and calls to the people, people of Nineveh, God will destroy this city in 40 days. He will destroy you in 40 days. God will destroy the city in 40 days. He will destroy you in 40 days. And people begin to listen to Jonah. And the king comes to listen. And the king thinks about what Jonah says. Then the king calls the people together, and the king says, hurting and robbing and killing is wrong. We must change. We will tell Jonah's God that we are sorry. And each person must say, I am sorry. We will not eat or drink. We will not let our animals eat or drink. We will put on sackcloth to say we are sorry. We will sit in dust and ashes to say we are sorry. We will stop hurting and robbing and killing. Then maybe Jonah's God will not destroy us. God looks at Nineveh and at the people living there. He sees the people are sorry for how they have lived. He sees that the people will change. He feels sorry for them and does not destroy them. Jonah is angry. He is very, very angry. And he says to God, yes, God, and you did just what I said. The people of Nineveh said they were sorry, and you forgave them. What about me? Says Jonah. People are laughing at me. My word is nothing. I am better off dead. And Jonah goes to the city gate. He makes a little tent and sits in it. Jonah is pouting. God makes a vine to grow over Jonah's tent, and it shades Jonah from the hot sun. Jonah gives thanks for the vine that shades him. But the next day, a worm eats and kills the vine. Then the sun burns hot on Jonah's head. The hot wind blows on him, and Jonah says, I am better off dead. And God asked Jonah, why are you angry? Are you sorry for the vine? And Jonah says, I am angry. A worm killed my vine, and I am sorry for the vine. And God says, Jonah, you did not make that vine grow. You did not plant it. You did not water it. It came up one day, and the next day a worm killed it. It was just a vine, yet you feel sorry for it. And God goes on. The city of Nineveh has 120,000 people. It has many, many animals. Can I not care for all those people? Can I not care for all those animals? Can I not be sorry for them? Jonah thinks on what God has said. And at last, he says, yes, God, I see that you have love for all people.